as we focus on several activities and actions being taken in preparation towards the 2019 general elections. I've got on my immediate right, Honorable Tajuddin Yusuf, who is the Chairman House Committee on Capital Markets. And right beside him is Chief Godson Okoye, who is a former presidential candidate and the National Chairman of UDP. He's also the National Secretary of Coalition for New Nigeria. That will be CNN. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Let me start with Honorable Yusuf. Some of those laws that have been amended, particularly the Electoral Act, as it's got to do with the 2019 elections. I know you have heard several times how some people think, well, are we sure those laws are not particularly self-serving? But what's the thinking of the House or the National Assembly, or let me even say the House, because that's where you are, when they amend those laws with respect to, first, electronic voting, to see that results are transmitted, or INEC now have to go and work out how they do all of those, because there are those who will say, those laws notwithstanding, the politicians will always find a way to circumvent the law. Talk to us about that.
I agree with you that you find people who naturally will always look for means of circumventing the law. That's why we must improve on the law regularly. So what the National Assembly has done right now is to look at the previous elections, note loopholes, shortcomings, and see how we can use law to block them and amend those tendencies. Results, if you follow election very well, most times at collation center, the results are manipulated. So the idea is, from accreditation, you transmit those who are accredited, number, the figure, immediately to a central portal. That's, everybody has access to it nationally. You are in Lagos, you'll be able to know that in somewhere in the Kogi or wherever, so number of accredited. So result of election must tally with those numbers. It used to be that accreditation is done, voting will start after 2 hours later. Now when you do accreditation, you can vote immediately. And when votes are counted, it must be transmitted immediately, so as to take away those time lag, that opportunity for manipulation. No one is saying it's so insulated from manipulation, but you reduce the risk. That is the intention. I think we should give credit to the National Assembly for attempting, at least, going forward by reducing those noticeable capacity for infraction. So, the thinking of the National Assembly is to make our election better than they used to be.
Chief Okoye, you're in the field. You were in the field, and you will be this time, I reckon. You had party agents. They gave you reports in terms of what happened. How do you think this law could make things better?
Well, like the Honorable said, and to an extent I agree with you, that some people always find a way to get behind the law. But the point is, like Benjamin Disraeli, one time Israeli Foreign Secretary said, statistics are good, depending on who is giving it and for what purpose. So also, amendments to laws are good, but it depends on why they have been made.
Not who's making them.
Just like that, of course, who is making them too. Like you said, self-serving, because the people in the National Assembly, they are the participants in the field. They are not making laws for other people to take part in. They are going to be players in the field. And they are then supervising the amendment of the laws that will guide the election. So, where is neutrality?
Are you implying that they shouldn't be involved?
You see, most of the things that happen in the country, I have a different take about why they happen. Because something is fundamentally missing. And you have people that want to dress up national interest to achieve personal interest. And that's the problem. What is the national interest of Nigeria?
What do you think is the interest then? If you talk about interests, let's talk about Section 25. Why do you think that that was corrected at this time? And
no, just oppose that Section 2, Chapter 2 of the Constitution, that will have said what will have amounted to a national interest of the country. But at the end, it is not justiciable. You cannot go to court.
Is this not in the interest of the country?
Of course not. When it's not justiciable.
Why do you say so?
No, when it's not in the interest, when it's not justiciable, definitely not in the interest of the country. Because if what we're saying something is fundamentally lacking, and that's national interest. And the moment you lack that, 21st century Nigeria, we don't have a national interest. You had the Americans every time they talk about national interest. You had the British, and everything flows through it. The political parties came to it, the participants in the field came to it, and once it's lacking, that's why you have sectional interest, tribal interest, religious interest, taking center stage.
So in whose best interest was the amendment of Section 20?
Definitely, the people that are going to participate in it are the people that will benefit from it.
Not the Nigerian people?
Because, of course, I mean, you know the general party in the political setup.
No, I
you know how it's
that.
If you also, as a Nigerian, say you have not observed general apathy in the political realm, then I don't think you're being fair. You're a journalist to start with. So you should be like a guardian of what people think or what people feel about the political process. And of course, like he said, as a participant in the field, I've seen it. Some people are not interested. Some people are like, oh, is the election over? Or who won?
A lot of Nigerians back away from the elections or lost interest in their election from conversations we've had because they go like, my vote won't count.
Precisely.
And he said that why they are looking at amending this was so that to reduce the risk of votes not counting. I mean, if 10 people were accredited here, by the time that they count the votes, 20 votes come from there. And you're saying that it's self-serving, not serving the interests of
course,
Nigerians.
you see, like you said, my vote will not count. By the time you're done, you are also...
Not that yours will not count.
no, mine. That is general. That is somebody else.
Some people have,
somebody saying
rightly or wrongly.
I know, somebody saying my vote doesn't count. But the point is, you are talking about electronic voting. Do you produce those things you are going to use for the election? Do you guarantee power on the day of election? Are you thinking about what will happen on that day? Look at the card reader, the day it started, when we started with it. Apart from the fact that there was no law at that point supporting its use, it was still used. And to some level, but in fairness to Jega, when he first started, he didn't even want to use it, but some people pressured him to use it. And then, in the end, you saw the result we produced. Some people will go there, they'll stay for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, the machine can, and their names are there. But you have a manual register. So we're always trying to wear somebody's dress. Why are we incapable of original political thinking?
Let's hear from
unlike the one in Ghana, excuse me, unlike the one in Ghana, they even made a law, at least just one sentence. By the time a presiding officer is satisfied that the person standing before him is the voter that is registered, he goes through biometric verification. That's where the card reader came in. But the Nigerian one, there was no provision for that. I guess that's what they're trying to do now. Because at that point, you have, by the time a presiding officer is satisfied that the person standing before him is the registered voter, he gives him the ballot.
So you're justifying what they're doing eventually?
No, it's not justifying it, but I say for what purpose and how will it work?
Answer.
Let me come in here. The intention, if you look at it, before now, tell you rightly, I posted it, there was no law. Back in the card reader, now you have a law. And the law says the presiding officer in his wisdom is convinced you are a voter, you are a genuine voter. And the card reader cannot pick you. Provided that those number of people who the card reader refused to pick are not more than 10% of the registered voter in that unit, he will go ahead and allow you vote. But if you are more than 10%, you should cancel the election of that unit and to be done. So the idea is to make sure that everybody goes through that process. In 2011, there was no such provision. So you could just come, the president of the can tell you the candidate didn't work in a particular place and they use the same form, all true. While in another area, he might insist, and there's only a penalty now, a 5-year jail term for a presiding officer who manipulate that process in any way. Sir, I want to disagree a bit. I agree we have a lot of flaws and whatever, but that does not mean we should not attempt to solve this problem. One, the fact that the man gets drowned in a river, will you stop anybody from drinking water? You must drink water. You must take bath with it. So we do not have, yes, a national agenda that is motivating us. Right before we came in, I was talking about it. Say, what is our motivation? Even from our curriculums in school, as a child grade, what is it? What is the national ethics and value that is being taught? I agree. But do we now say because of that?
Yeah, isn't the National Assembly in the position to do something about that?
I initiated a bill in that respect, and I discovered that it's a policy thing. Teaching of ethics and value was something we inherited those days. In first time in 7th Assembly, when I came in, I did a bill but what we started to look at is a policy thing. It's already enshrined in the Constitution that Nigeria shall have a national ethics and value. So it's not a policy thing. That was where there was this woman that was appointed before now, Mrs. Jessera Jibril, as national. I engage her and what have you. Is to have the drive, have somebody who understand that, hey,
We haven't heard much from the office though. We don't know if it still functions that much.
It's there, but it's not functioning. I engaged that office several times, and I discovered.
What about lately? Have you engaged the office recently?
No, I won't lie. I did 2012, 2005, 2014. So I agree. Yes, we don't have national drive, but these laws, to me, are a step in the right direction compared to what we had in 2015. So it should be appreciated that and again, how would the law be self-serving? Naturally, politicians should not want such laws. They prefer a loose law that will allow them to manipulate the system. But for now, what we have will reduce those standards, except the electoral empire deliberately frustrated. You talk about power or whatever. Yes, but that is why those measures and those equipment have a backup power. And that is why when you are such failure, we don't call there will be a national failure. We don't believe there will be a national failure all through. But it's a particular area you find difficult to operate. The law allows you to cancel that election for that particular place and do the election not more than maybe 7 days. By implication, you have a window to make sure you do what is credible.